So let me welcome to the League of Women Voters. Many of you I've seen before. I've got some new faces too, so that's wonderful. Let me put my way through who we are for those of you who are not as familiar. Our mission is to empower voters and defend democracy. I feel like Superwoman every time I say that. Yes! Our vision is a democracy where every person has the desire, the right, the knowledge, and the competence to participate, because we find lacking any one of these is often a barrier to voting. And our value is that we believe in the power of women and men to form a more perfect democracy. We do have male members, even on the board, but it is primarily women, and it was started by women. So our work is a nonpartisan organization. We don't support or oppose any candidate or any party, at least not as a league member. Personally, you can do what you want, and that's fine, but when you speak for the league, and when we act as a league, we do not support people or parties. But we do act on issues, but it's based on research. So particularly things that affect women, but people in general. So education, gun safety, but particularly voting issues, voting rights. So here are some of the different ones. And the league, not our local league, but through our dues money, our state league and the national league are litigants in court cases. So when you pay dues, you become a member at every level. You become a member of the state and the U.S. And they help us a lot, and then we help them. Okay, we have decided that we're going to open, in terms of this ceremony, we're going to open every session with a very appropriate quote. And Becky Keeler, our secretary, has so many appropriate quotes.
Hi, y'all. Good to see you. Just in case you can't read that, and I understand completely, this comes from President Eisenhower. And he says that politics, ought to be the part-time profession of every citizen who would protect the rights and privileges of free men. Maybe like voting rights, freedom of speech, whatever. Anyway, that's our quote of the month.
Okay. There's a little bit more.
Oh. Wow. Sorry. What else did he say? Ought to be the profession of every citizen who would protect the rights and privileges of free people and who would preserve what is good and fruitful in our national heritage. Future quotes will give us some hints about that national heritage and what it means.
Okay, next I'll hand it over to Dave Volrath to talk about schedule, upcoming things.
So those of you who may have been with us for the fall series of meetings, we explored finding common ground in polarized times and explored some skills and issues related to that. This spring our topic is participation in 2024, because this is the crazy year as far as participation in elections go, with the presidential candidates on the list, as well as U.S. House of Representatives, and one of our Senate positions is up, and then of course the state and local legislators as well. So we are going to try to explore in spring programs in March, April, and May the who, why, where, what, when of voting to get you primed for the fall, where we will probably focus on candidate forums and specific races and issues that are on the ballot in the fall. So, okay, this schedule is also on the table, so you can take one with you as you leave. We are going to begin with a focus on why one would sort of bother to vote. What are the motivations that energize people to go to the ballot box? A piece of that is trying to find connections between issues or facts of your own personal life and the decisions that are made by these elected officials. And the stronger the connections you see, the stronger the motivation of you and your family and friends to go out and vote. We also, in April, will talk about what is going to be on that ballot. Mostly candidates. I'm not sure if there's going to be any statewide referendum issue this year, but in some years there are as well. And then in May we'll talk about how to get out the vote. Right now, here in this state, we don't really have a problem with voter registration, but we have an awful problem in getting the people who are entitled to vote. And so efforts to get out the vote will be the focus in the May meeting, and then our annual meeting will be in June. Along the way, we hope to raise our profile in more of the counties outside of this one with lunch meetings. So we'll rotate around some of the counties in Northeast Tennessee and invite you to join us for sort of casual meeting to get to know one another better.
Okay, so our next, the theme is Love Your League because it's Valentine's Day. And this is the 104th birthday of the League, which was founded on Valentine's Day. So that's why we have 2 cakes in the back. Not just one, we have a Valentine cake and a birthday cake. So what we have next, though, in the sense of we wanted to get a sense of how people love their league, and we asked several of our members, including one of our most senior members who has some great information. She's been a member way before we kind of reestablished the league. She was a member the first time through. We have our youngest member who's going to talk, Ava, and then we have someone in the middle, our director, Laura. So let's start with Frances. If you'll come on up and talk to us a little bit about why you love the League of Women Voters.
However, this is not this person. This person is Lambert's. And you remember that there's only 2 Lambert's families in the United States. Altogether.
I will fix it.
Okay, no big
Do
deal.
you want to talk into the microphone or just?
Oh, yeah,
That will help. And do you need me to hold it?
Would you mind doing that?
I will be
That
the easel
would
today.
be great. Well, how do I?
Just talking to the little thing.
Oh.
Yes, it's already on.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Well, I wish I could do, I am so old, I can barely still do my email, let alone anything like this, which I would really love to do, would be much easier for you. So I picked up from my work some old hard copies for you for us to talk about. I've been with the League when it was refounded in the mid-'80s or late '80s. And I chose, when our League president, Jana Christie, asked me, I had already read by that time the wonderful positions which the League of Women Voters has on the natural resources, on the environment, on environmental protection, so I chose that portfolio, environmental protection. After we had been for a few times as local league to Nashville, to the board meetings, they lost, or their natural resources person went off, and so they asked me, would I please take work for the state league also. So for about 15 years, I was both the state league natural resources person and continued with our local league. And here are just the league's position, impact on the issues of the environment is just so inspiring, so sustainability oriented, so wise and so democratic, insisting that the people who are affected by government decisions on the environment, that those people have a say in those, I mean, the league position is just very inspiring. And of course, in the natural resources, the position includes energy, nuclear energy, which the league exposes expansion of nuclear energy, climate change, the clean water, clean air, etc., etc. So there's lots of things to dig into and work on.
And the natural resource is only one of many, many.
Yeah.
So whatever your
Yeah.
strong interests are, it's probably related.
Yeah, right,
Probably
yeah.
related.
So some of the things that we did for 4 years or so, the TVA actually at the beginning of the century supported renewable energy, clean energy. And then with a new CEO coming in, it no longer did or does. But initially, for 4 years, we had an information booth for the league on renewable energy and clean energy. And we got about 1,000, petitions. We sent this petition, of course, to the TVA Board of Directors and to the Governor of Tennessee, asking them, and thanking them for having started on renewable energy, and please expand it. Kathy Riddle was at that time our local president. Toby Bledsoe was the mayor of Jonesboro. She was on that, as I was for the league, on the advisory committee of Green Power Switch at TVA.
Yeah, are you gonna leave these things up here later so people can look at them?
That would be, we could.
So that you can come up, because there are a lot, and there's more on the back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so much you can't
Well,
possibly talk about all of them, but.
One cannot talk
Just-
about 20 or 25 years of work within a few
But
minutes.
look, notice
It's
your
not
button.
possible.
Notice your button, League of Women Voters, that's a vintage one.
In '87, the EPA brought out new ambient air standards because so many, the ozone and the particulates had increased in the air very much. There had been many, many deaths, health problems. So the EPA proposed new standards. I went for the league to the Washington County Commission and said, would you pass a resolution to support clean air? And then they said, well, you now have to go to the health committee of the Washington County Commission. At that time, I asked Tony DeLucia, who was at the medical school here, and then we made presentation to that committee, and then I went back and the committee supported that. And then I went back to the full commission, and 15 yeses and 2 noes on again. Now, interesting though, the then governor of Tennessee, and Hamilton County, Chattanooga, had passed resolutions against. No, the EPA should study this a little more and wait a little more before we ask for cleanup.
So we're gonna have to, one more thing, because we've got to. I'm sorry. We should have her for her own session.
Well, then look at this. Because I found and find the League positions on the environment so inspiring, I kept writing letters to the editor. All of these in the Tennessean, in the Knoxville News Sentinel, the John City Press, the Kingsburg paper, because the League position impacts everything.
Didn't we have one this week, this last week?
Huh?
Didn't we have
Yeah.
one just a week or so?
Yeah, that was, yeah, but in these ones, they came from the League. And there was one together with Senator Alexander in the Knoxville News Sentinel, side by side with Senator. He proposing, since the US is the Saudi Arabia of coal, we ought to gasify the coal and use that. And Francis arguing for renewable energy and for energy conservation.
Thank you so much, Randy. Thank you. Okay, so, oh, sorry, that's, next. Next we're, sorry, got the wrong part of it. So next we're gonna hear from our youngest member, Ava. Come on up. Ava has also, she started helping us with the videos last fall as part of the Tennessee Promise community work you have to do, and she's just kind of stuck with us.
Hi everyone, my name is Ava. I've got some flashcards, so because I'm a little nervous, but I'm so happy to have the opportunity to voice my appreciation for the League being part of its 104th anniversary. I was introduced to the League by Ruth over there because I had mentioned to her that I was interested in getting involved in the community and I was interested in politics, and so I attended a meeting and I helped record the program, and I enjoyed the speakers and the topics that were discussed, so I did just kind of stick around. I think that it's very important that people come to informational programs such as this one and get involved in leagues. I've only attended a couple of them, but I've already learned strategies from the last program, such as talking to people who may have different political views, and how to spot the difference in real and misleading websites. We can all learn so much from community and regionally based organizations while getting involved, and being interested in bigger organizations that maybe focus on federal issues is wonderful. We are greatly affected by our local government. Talking with members of our community can be educational and impactful. Another essential and founding aspect of the League is that it is a nonpartisan organization, and I greatly appreciate that. As many of you know, it's pretty hard to find any political organization, news outlet, or social media app that proves its nonpartisan claims. However, the League of Women Voters values the importance of voting and recognizes that voting is a nonpartisan issue. Although the League was created with the intention of strengthening women's right to vote, the organization now fights for the voting rights of all. Voting in our local and federal elections is a part of our civic duty, and this is one of the best ways to show your part in democracy and elect those who best represent your values and hopes for your community and country. I'm not able to vote just yet, but will be able to vote in the upcoming federal election, so I'm pretty excited about that. Sometimes I feel pretty helpless when I read something in the news or hear about an issue that I feel pretty strongly about, but without being able to vote, I can't do too much. But I'm excited to vote and finally just kind of have my part in fighting for what I believe in. I'm inspired by the people who create these programs and who devote their time to educating people of the importance of voting, just like you're doing and everyone who has a part in these programs do. I'm thankful for the opportunity to speak about the importance of the League, and I hope the League continues to be an amazing tool in participating in one of our nation's oldest traditions. Thank you.
And last, we're going to hear from Laura Lose, who is on our board and our youngest board member.
All right, I think that's a pretty good distance. All right, so why did I join the League of Women Voters? I thought about all of the minor reasons, but I really came back to the core reason, and it's really the value that I was raised with. And my parents always stressed that it was truly an incredible gift to get to live in a country that is free, and that America is still this wild experiment, this wonderful experiment that there's never been anything else like it on the planet, and that it's an inheritance that we have a responsibility and a duty to protect and to guard. And I was really raised to believe that what's special about being an American is that government isn't something that's out there, but government at its best is us. And that's messy sometimes, but that it's our job not to make it perfect, but to find progress. And, oh, that's not like, okay. And so it works, something like that, of course, is gonna work best if every voice is involved. And so I believe that the League of Women Voters specifically is the best organization that I can be involved with that matches that. And especially with the goal of increasing local voter participation, this is where I found my home to be involved for that. In my mind, there are really two parts to that, and the League tackles both really well. The first is, I really want to help myself and my neighbor find out how to vote here and how voting works here. And second, how to help us have better access to better quality information about the names and the issues that are on our ballots, so we can be the best informed voters that we can be. I moved to Johnson City 8 years ago, and there's so much that is great here to be proud of. I was blown away by the beautiful library, and I've got 3 kids, so the playgrounds here are great. The parks are great, the trails are great. I love living here. But also, as someone who has lived other places, the truth is that the logistics of voting here, I've really struggled with. It's complicated. I'm 41 years old. I'd only ever voted by mail before moving here. I thought polls were like surveys, and people would talk about going to them. It's very strange to me. So I also really struggled on researching, and I'm a very highly motivated voter, but to find out, especially when you're somewhere new and you don't have kind of your trusted friends you can ask, and your new casual friends aren't talking about it, finding out information was hard, even as someone who gets the paper and, you know, asks questions. So I was at an event at the library when I first heard about the League, and I thought, aha, I found my people. And so I'm working really hard to normalize talking about politics, because when normal people are involved in politics, politics stay more normal. One of my favorite resources out there, if you had a chance to go to the Festival of Ideas last year at ETSU, these gals spoke. Their first book is I Think You're Wrong, But I'm Listening. And so if you would like guidance on conversations in your life, they have a podcast also. And Now What is their newer book. So their podcast is called Pantsuit Politics. And as I was thinking about what's guided and informed me, just chapter 1 of this book even really talks about how if we aren't involved, our government isn't going to reflect us. And I really believe that there's so much that we agree on and can make progress on, and we need representatives and laws that aren't perfect, but are working on things. So that's why I've appreciated the League.
Okay, so as we were thinking about what we needed to do to start off this election season and get people informed, we thought a lot of you don't know all the things that the League does and can do. And so somehow, Valentine's Day, whatever, we came up with this idea of speed dating. So what you have in front of you is a paper with 6 boxes. It's supposed to be a Valentine, if you want to get a little schmaltzy. But it has 6 different areas, and we have directors seated at each of these tables. And each director is, well, we all kind of crosswork anyway, but is going to talk about one of those areas, answer questions. And we want you to be thinking as you go through, which one of these is really your passion? You know, like Laura spoke and Ava, certain things that really resonate with you. Francis, you don't have to love everything and want to do everything, but we're hoping that you'll be willing to volunteer some of your time, maybe some of your talents. Different people have different talents. And then we were being very alliterative and poetic, some of your treasure, if you would like to donate. But think about it, you know, you can take notes, and then when you've gone through all 6, we're doing speed dating, you do not move. The directors get up and move. Because everybody has their coats and their purses, you know, we thought we could do this faster. Now, we're hoping you'll really get a good conversation going. You're gonna get 5 minutes with each director. I'm a longtime professor, longtime professor, and always did small groups, and I would get them talking, and I couldn't get them to stop. So I dug out the school bell, which is cheesy, but you can really hear it over a very loud noise. So I will be, every 5 minutes, I'm gonna ring the bell, and that means you stick to where you are, but the next person's gonna come and talk about a different area. Now, let's see, with my handy dandy thing, I had, you're gonna, please put your name, see at the top your name and how we can contact you. What we'll do, well, let me go through them in order, I always get ahead of myself. So you're gonna make notes. At the end, where you've gone all the way around, then we're gonna ask you maybe to circle or star 1 or 2 things. This is a bizarre little thing. 1 or 2 things that you think you might be interested in. Again, with their time, talent, whatever. Then, we are gonna ask you to go back and have cake and get beverages, lined up over there. The directors are gonna take snapshots of your list, of your little Valentine, so that we have a record of what you're interested in, and so that you can take it home, though. So that can be your own personal notes, but we will be looking at it, so be kind. Okay, and so then we'll be contacting people later, particularly if you have an interest. So that we just need so many things. We're hardworking, but we can always use different talents, different people doing things. So, no cake yet. You have to do this before we have cake. So, I will be timing. Directors, you know what you're doing. Just look at, they'll tell you their topic, and you can ask particular things you want. That's why I'm glad we have kind of smaller groups. And then when you hear the bell, the directors will move, okay? You may begin.